Welcome to The Blue Dot, Northern Kentucky's premier political podcast, brought to you by the Kenton County Democratic Executive Committee. Welcome back to the Blue Dot podcast, where we shine a light on local voices making a difference in their communities. In this special What's Happening in Your Holler edition, we're headed to Owen County, a place known for its rolling hills, rich history, and fun fact, it's home to Kentucky's oldest continuously operating courthouse.
We have to have a fun fact every time.
We got to have a fun fact, Brian. You know me.
That's right. I love it.
And we also have two Democratic leaders joining us today who also happen to be running for local office. Mikayla Roark is the chair of the Owen County Democrats. And we're also joined by Rachelle Ketron. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, let's start with the basics. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've been up to in Owen County?
Yeah, well, I can start first. Like you said, I'm the chair of the Owen County Democrats. I have been the chair for the past 5 years. So when I took over, our party was pretty much non-existent. A lot of the people that had been a part of the executive committee held public office, and they had switched to the Republican Party. Kind of saw the writing on the wall that was the only way that they would be elected or reelected at that time. So I took over, and there was not much happening, and it's taken quite a bit of time for us to get up and running. But I think right now we have one of the most active parties in, I think, Congressional District 4, especially in the rural counties or out of the rural counties.
Yeah, and your county is kind of sandwiched between, just so everybody knows where you're at, you're sandwiched kind of between 75 and 71, right?
Correct.
Down there by the Arc, and then you go down pretty far south.
Yeah, I think they call it the heart of the Golden Triangle.
Oh,
so
it's very fancy.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
I like
so
that.
like 45-minute drive in any direction to Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati. So
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then how about you? Tell us about a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I have actually lived in Owen County since 2014. Grew up in Pendleton County, so very, very similar kind of rural area, same economics and things of that nature. Newer to the Democratic chapter here, but really to speak on what Mikayla said, it's just few and far between, and sometimes you're just not aware. And I think I'm very grateful to have found like voices, and then really being able to reach out and start to become more visible. And I think that has really kind of brought people out to us, and it's really, really encouraging, honestly.
Yeah, and the more and more we knock on doors and do deep canvassing, it seems like it's that visibility, right?
Mhm.
And you guys are out there talking to people. And then as we start talking to people, they'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that there were more Democrats, right?
Right.
And then you realize, boy, there's a lot of us out here. And then you realize, now I have a motivation to get out and vote or to knock on doors and things like that. So that's fantastic work that you guys are both doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And one of the other things I think is fun about these types of talks and talking to all the counties and the leaders in each county is that each one has its own priorities. And on the Blue Dot, we talk a lot about the kitchen table topics that are affecting people in your community. So I don't know if you have maybe 3 kitchen table topics that you're hearing a lot of from your neighbors down there in Owen.
Well, do you want me to start? So I'll say that like you said, we've been doing a lot of deep canvassing. So going out and talking to our neighbors, seeing what their concerns are, and what issues matter most to them. And what I would say the top 3 that we've kind of heard is cost of living, healthcare, and then we always ask, since we're running local, what is local issues that you're seeing or concerns that you have? And it's usually like our roads, infrastructure, and economic development. And the thing that I think is kind of special about those conversations with those individuals is we're talking to voters that will tell us that they vote mainly Republican or they vote mainly Democrat. But when you look at their concerns across the board, they're pretty consistently the same issues, right? So I think it shows that our similarities are a lot bigger than our differences. And that really helps us as local candidates identify how to talk to those voters and what issues we're going to work on.
Those kitchen table topics and the issues, when you hear those issues and they're shared by a lot of your constituents or maybe hopefully future constituents, how is Owen County addressing some of those issues? Or do you have plans in place? Where do you see big gaps in planning that where you need to attack and maybe build that kind of decision making at the governmental level that's actually going to deliver for the resident?
I'd say probably, and this is something that we both have spoken on a lot, is transparency. It's really not something that we see a lot here. And I know that it's so detrimental. I know on the work that I do, like in human services, I'm a therapist, I'm a program manager in a rural area. And I know the challenges of so many of the families, even, in Owen County and like counties, where they are struggling to navigate systems that were never built with them in mind. And so with that, you don't know the right question to ask or who to go to for a question, or is there any record of these things? You're never going to find your footing, and the barriers are just get bigger, or you don't even know they exist, but you'll just never get kind of to that finish line or achieve that goal or have that growth or have those things. And I think that for me, I know has been kind of what I've noticed as the biggest challenge and detriment truly to the people that live here, because they don't have knowledge of what is going on structurally, the infrastructure of the county, who does what, how is that going, where's that, and all, where's the funding, where's this going? Like those things aren't seen by well, if it is, it's by a very minute number of people.
I mean, I don't know what the county has or local government, like city councils and governments within the county, what they have. Is there a way to organize those into a central portal? Like, I'm always thinking like from a systemic, and maybe that's not necessarily it. You may not have, residents, especially older residents or those that are underprivileged, don't have the technical, capabilities or access to technology to get to those kinds of things. So, what do you envision? Is that part of the issue, and how would you approach that? Because I think that's great that people don't know where to go, and that is like the number one thing. If you know where to go get answers, that can help a lot right immediate.
I think you're right. So it's got to be a variety of ways to get information out to people. A lot of the people in our county don't have access to internet, so social media isn't always an option. And with older people, utilize social media. So I think right now the problem is that there is no communication and really no attempts to get information out from our fiscal court. They don't produce an agenda before meetings. Nothing is streamed or recorded. The notes and minutes afterwards are quite delayed before they get posted on the website. So they keep their meetings to like 4 minutes long. I mean, it's really, there's not a lot of discussion. So when we're talking about transparency, we're talking about like, even if you attend a meeting, you're still not going to know what they're talking about because it's real quick and it's just make a motion, second, move on. And, so they're not even going into details on what or why they're making the decisions that they are. So I think it would start with, just really letting people be aware of that that's the situation we're in currently, that their leadership isn't being transparent and isn't listening or asking for their input.
And a lot of that is just people want their voices heard, right? And it sounds like both of you are obviously very motivated to help change a lot of this. You're both running for office. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're running for and what you hope to change?
So I'm candidate for Magistrate of District 1 in Owen County. So like I said, as far as for myself, transparency being, where I've kind of already spoken on that a bit. For my background purposes, like I mentioned earlier, just being a program manager and a therapist for a community mental health center, that's kind of my bread and butter anyway. And so for me, that's always kind of like up front in the front of my mind when I speak to someone, when I'm looking, if I'm sitting at those fiscal court meetings and we're having these 4-minute meetings and we're doing these things, can't imagine, because I already know what it's like to sit at people's kitchen tables or their living rooms or crisis meetings, and they are struggling to survive. And like I said, in a system that wasn't built for them in mind. And so from a lens like that for myself, and specifically in a rural area, right? So if you don't have the connections, the power, the money source, the funding, who is building anything with you in mind? Oftentimes things are being built and they're creating a barrier for you actually. And you won't
Yeah.
even know because, as a simple example, like, and if you had a fiscal court meeting and someone said code da 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 da, motion voted, we're done. I want if you step in the room, does anybody know what that code is? Anyone?
Right. It's almost, yeah.
When no one
It,
knows.
it's almost like an insult, to have the meeting. If somebody shows up and then you run through it like that, it's almost disrespectful. It's a shame.
Yeah. It's just it's so harmful. It's so harmful for people.
Right.
And like I said, unfortunately, if it's always been like this, and I said like the awareness of it, you don't know what you don't know, and if you don't have the questions, or if someone isn't bringing something to light for you and going, hey, this can be done better than it has been done for a very long time, for a
Right.
very long. So I think that's really important.
And I think that's why when people don't understand what's going on in that manner because they simply don't have the tools to know, then they rely on what they hear in social media or the loud voices and the wedge issue of the day. And that's why those things work, rather than educating people or giving them the resources to educate themselves and to learn a little bit more. So that's a really interesting perspective that, even if people want information, there's really not a way for them to get it.
And
And
if you've
Mikayla,
been essentially ignored for such a long time, you just check out. So even if you don't even make those attempts to try to get back into it or to seek assistance or understand what's going on because you've been shut down so many times, you're just like it's no use, even if you have the resources available. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even at the beginning when first deciding to run, I'm like, even one of my main goals is like, even if I just walk away with bringing more information to the community. So like, hey, we have, for example, just for social media purposes, right? What district are you in? How many districts does Owen County have? Who are your current magistrates? How do you get a hold of those people? What is civic duty? What does that look like? Where are opportunities in this county for you to start getting information? So like I said, and that's just like before even, election or anything like that. Like I'm like, just for even that, the greater people having more information.
And a lot of that starts at the precinct too. We're doing a lot of precinct building here. I know counties are doing precinct across the state, and it's really that grassroots getting to know your neighbor. And like you said, how do we find information we need? So I think it's just very important, and it's you giving a voice and elevating your voice for those issues. So I think that's amazing. And it takes a lot to run. It takes a lot of courage to run. So I commend you both. And Mikayla, you're running as well. So what are you running for?
Magistrate District 4. So we're both running for
Okay.
magistrate.
Oh,
So one of
great.
the biggest,
Great.
yeah, one of the biggest goals that the Owen County Democrats had this year was finding candidates to run at the local level. And we were really focusing on that
Yeah.
fiscal court. We knew it was the weakest part of our local government.
Nice.
So we have 4 magistrate districts and we have 4 Democrat candidates running in all of those districts. So other than us, there's 2 other individuals, and they have a lot of great experience and have previous experience. One with being a judge exec and a magistrate and school board, and another one that's experience being in city council. So, I think together we bring a great skill set and lots of experience and a passion and kind of drive to change what the fiscal court has looked like and kind of project Owen County forward.
It's fantastic. It's so important to have leaders like you guys for sure.
Yeah, I was at the Campbell County. I actually live in Campbell County, and I accidentally met Natalie at a Kenton County happy hour. Next thing I know, we were doing a podcast. But I was at Campbell County candidate recruitment talking about trying to find people, and we had like 50 people show up and a lot of younger people, the next generation. Hey, I'm old. I'm ready to get out of the way. Come on in. Let's get some fresh blood and fresh ideas in there. And it was really great to see. And what you're seeing, seeing you two and interviewing you, and then also just your approach to things just makes me feel really good about where we're headed, just like I did the other night. And I really think there's a lot of momentum right now, especially after the Tuesday's elections, which were fantastic. Wow. Just another quick note. I just listened to Heather Cox Richardson's podcast from yesterday, November 6th, and it's fantastic. And she said the reason that we had the turnout and the success that we had on Tuesday, she said, was because of each of you, and that's us. I mean, we've been out protesting, demonstrating, the grassroots stuff, people getting involved who haven't been getting involved before. So it really made me feel good. But we're doing the right thing, and we're making progress. So thanks to you too for doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And again, it's visibility. And I feel like now that we're getting our messaging, and it's, again, people like you guys getting out there and getting the messaging out there. But if you had to speak directly to people, not only just in your county, but across Kentucky, what do you think are call to actions? Like, what would you ask of the people, how to directly get involved? Are there things, I know, especially now with the SNAP benefits being gone, rural communities are really getting hurt. I don't know if you guys are having any kind of food drives there, or if there's any kind of call to actions you'd like to highlight.
Yeah, well, so that's a really great thing to highlight, I think, because our Democratic Women's Club here in Owen County really stepped up when we heard about the SNAP benefit situation, and they started organizing a canned food drive for one of our local food pantries. But I've seen Democrats doing that across the Commonwealth, whether it's Democratic candidates or other county parties or clubs. It's really amazing to see what Democrats can do and kind of what they stand for, which is, obviously stepping up to help when there's a need. It seems like Democrats are always trying to come up with solutions, whereas Republicans are usually ignoring those problems. So I really like to see like the kind of community service and the give back. And I think that gives us a positive presence in our county.
Yeah. And it's great to see. It really is. I know there's a statewide food drive going on right now, and hopefully we'll get out of this sooner than later. But it's insane to see how the Republicans are just not caring about this at all.
Yeah. In our last pod, we finished up and I talked a little bit about the food banks, and what I discovered that Feeding America actually is like a umbrella organization that then flows down to multiple food banks and free stores throughout the nation. Like, for instance, there's one in Cincinnati, and that's a good place. If you have people ask, besides your local food bank, that's another place to go, because they will take, especially if you do cash donations, they will take that money and they're able to buy, through their supply chain and maximize that investment and then put it out to exactly where it needs to go. So that's another good way to do some real pinpoint help to people who really need it, if anyone asks. I was surprised. I didn't know about that. I've been telling everybody about it because so many people are worried about that right now.
For sure. And on a lighter note, we can lighten it up a little bit. With all of our guests, we also like to do a little lightning round of 5 fun questions, if you guys are up for that.
Lightning round.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll just ask, and then whoever wants to answer can answer. So we get 5 of them here for you, okay?
Okay.
All right. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? You could both answer if you want. Whatever you want to do.
I wanted to be a marine biologist, actually. So
Nice.
Oh, wow.
countless hours watching Jacques Cousteau with my dad. That was like my jam.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
So do you have your scuba license?
No.
No.
My father was a deep sea diver for the Navy, and I just didn't follow in suit like I should have. Became a therapist instead. But
Wow.
That's awesome. We're doing a military salute to military month on our podcast. So we just had George Wright, who was a former Army spokesperson for the Pentagon on, and he was just amazing. So thanks for your father's service. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. What is your favorite series that you're binging right now?
I think that's difficult. I think we're in between series right now. But it's getting to be like Christmas time, and that's typically when we start rewatching Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
Whether my husband wants to or not. So we'll probably be starting that soon.
Harry Potter is the Christmas. So my partner makes me watch 2 shows during the holidays: White Christmas, no matter what, that has to be watched, and Love Actually. So yeah, you got those traditions and you just stick with them.
I thought you were going to say Elf.
Well, no, that's just on 24/7 and you can't not watch it because it's hysterical. All right, question number 3. Is there a politician that inspired you?
I want to take that one.
Okay.
So the politician that inspired me was Pete Buttigieg.
Ah.
I owe probably my political work to him because I started working on his campaign when he had his presidential primary in 2019, 2020.
Oh.
I was I'd volunteer lead here in Kentucky. So that kind of threw me into politics in a very real way at the presidential level, which is quite different than at the Owen County level. But I had a bachelor's degree in political science and wasn't really using it. And that was kind of my first way to kind of step in and get involved in politics. Huge fan of his.
I think everybody's a huge fan of Pete, right?
How could you
He's
not be? And
like a
I will
unicorn.
say, like,
He's
his
so
camp so good, like so empathetic and so much about community and your friends and just positive. And it's something that you don't think about when you think about politics, right?
Mhm.
Like, it kind of has a dirty connotation to that. It's
Right.
politics or politician, but he really made me feel like you can do really great things and have a really impactful change in the community.
This may be the most controversial question of the lightning round. And that is,
Uh-oh.
what is the best food you can find in Owen County?
Can't be that controversial. We don't have a lot of options.
We
No hometown
have
restaurants.
a lot of options here. I will say, and Mikayla will attest to this, is probably the best place to go. Sadly, like I get like a fist bump and like see you tomorrow, literally every time I'm there because they know how often I come. It's just it's a good food always, and honestly, Ernesto, who's the owner, is so invested in this community. If there's ever any kind of fundraiser for like tragedy or for sports or any like youth thing, he is 100% the guy that steps up at communities like, I'll do something.
It's fantastic.
Great
that's
food.
great.
It's a
Just
community.
be there. So I'm like, heck yeah.
And do they have good margaritas? That's the question.
Right. Yes, they do. And they have lots of
Okay.
different kinds. Yes.
If I make it back down there, I
all
will
right.
check that out. All right. And lastly, whoever wants this one, if you could live anywhere in the world for 1 year other than Owen County, where would it be?
I'll let you tell me that.
For 1 year, goodness, I would probably stay Paris. I was there maybe 15 years ago and fell in love with it. I could probably spend the whole year just at the Louvre. I went for 3 days. I only saw a fourth or a third of it. I was just mesmerized.
Yeah.
The feeling and vibe of the city in general. It was just such a positive experience historically.
So, well, is there anything else you just wanted to add? Maybe a shout out or about what you've been doing?
Yes, actually. I think one of the things that we're very excited about is we are starting a Young Dems club here in Owen County. So while
excellent.
we're not an official club yet, we're still recruiting members. We do have some really excited, engaged young people, even some people at the high school level that are kind of partnering with some other young adults to get it up and running, and they're just doing an amazing job. So I wanted to highlight that because that's been like a goal since we basically revamped our Owen County Democratic Party. We wanted to get the youth involved. It's the reason we created our Democratic Women's Club so that they could offer scholarship at the high school level to kind of have that outreach in the high school. And so we're really, really excited to see what our Young Dems do and what the future holds for Owen County.
That's amazing. Yeah, we got the Young Dems up here, Kenton County, Boone and Campbell. They're doing a great job. I don't know. I'm sure you've maybe been in touch with them, but if your Young Dems need anybody to kind of bounce things off, that I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to you guys at any time.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is all then. I just want to thank you all very much for sharing your stories and your passion for your county. And just to our listeners, just remember that change starts at the local level. So if you're inspired to reach out to your party to definitely get involved, that there's leaders like both of you in your communities who are making a difference. And I think that's amazing. Thanks so much for all that you do.
Yeah, thank
you
you
Yeah,
so much.
Rachelle, Mikayla, thank you so much.
And that's it for this edition of What's Happening in Your Holler. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming podcasts or exclusive material. But don't forget, you can join the conversation at our Facebook and Instagram pages or at bluedoutpodcast.com. And if you like listening to the podcast, please consider donating to help fund it, which you can do by clicking on the donate link at bluedoutpodcast.com. Until next time, stay curious, keep the facts in focus, and never, ever stop fighting for what matters. Peace out, everybody.